Seeing as it's 5 o'clock, I'll call May Planning Commission meeting to order. I look for adopting the agenda.
And there's one change to the agenda, actually. After the agenda went out, we had some other conversations with Cedar Corp. So they need a little bit more time. We gotta give them some more information. We're gonna take off item number 11, continue discussions on updating city's comprehensive plan, Cedar Corp. So we'll do that next month.
Yeah, I look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
Also move as amended.
I'll second it.
Motion made and second, adopt the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? For approval of the April 29th meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and second to approve the April 29th planning commission meetings minutes. Consider a request for an attached garage for a proposed new dwelling that exceeds the maximum allowable height and square footage for residential usage at 1320 County Highway S. Is that you, Chad?
Yes, but before we get into that, I just want to kind of introduce our newest commission member, and I will just go around and kind of introduce everybody. Brandy Buss has taken over for Doug Knoll on the commission, so just wanted to welcome Brandy for that. And if everybody wants to kind of go around, just introduce yourself. If you're an alderman, kind of point that out, so Brandy knows that as well. So Bob, if you want to kind of go first.
Bob Alderman.
And Bob's the chairman of the committee, or commission, sorry.
Donna Gabert, I'm just a citizen member.
Billy Olson, Alderman District 2. Suzie Steingraber, citizen member.
Tim Roberts, Alderman District 4.
Novi, right? Dave Dorsey.
Jason Bassett, General Manager, New London Utilities.
Mark Herter, Mayor for New London.
Cool. And Dave, do you want to introduce yourself quick? Dave Vincent is our building inspector. I don't see a video yet, but he's on.
Yeah, it's Dave Vincent,
Cool. And the rest,
zoning administrator, building.
perfect. Thanks, Dave. Everybody else on the Zoom is for different items on the agenda. So sorry, Bob. I wanted to kind of.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I'm actually going to pass this one on to Dave because he was working with the potential property owner on this one. So Dave, if you want to go ahead. There he is.
All right, this gentleman approached us about putting they're calling them houses now. It's a smaller house with a larger, like a garage attachment. He's over the 1,100 square foot with his proposal that he's looking to build there. So I just had him forward us some designs that he's looking at. The ordinance calls for an accessory structure to be not over 1,100 square feet. And I think largely that was based on some of the lot sizes, in the downtown area. And it probably didn't take into consideration some of the larger parcels on the outskirts of town there. This is an 11-acre parcel. And, with the lot cuts, obviously this building here doesn't come close to meeting a maximum lot coverage for this building. So I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Rohan if he would like to speak and kind of address the committee here to let us know what his plans are for this building and to kind of explain the need for the larger portion of the building that would be an attached accessory structure / garage. So if Pete's available, we could probably turn it over to him at this point or his contractor.
Sure. I'll let Ron speak as well. My intention, thank you for taking the time to hear me out here. My intention for buying that, it's 11.75 acres, was to basically build a living quarters and a shop just for me to do my hobby work on. My thing is to I like restoring old woodworking and metalworking equipment for my personal use. And I just threw some concepts together. The drawings you're seeing is something I put together just for what a maximum size would be. And then I laid it on top of the lot size, as you can see, and it's, if you put it right in the center of the lot, it would be approximately 300 feet on each edge of the building to the lot line, if you will. Again, it was just, you can see from, as I scroll down through the images, the kind of the style of building I was looking at, or at least considering, if you will. And it's purely, it's not like, it's just my personal use. It was just for me to enjoy my hobby of restoring equipment and then actually using them in the shop. I just thought one building like this, which they're starting to get popular. Like Dave said, they're basically called houses, shed with a house attached, or whatever you want to refer that to. But that's pretty much the layout. There's several other styles that I shared with Sandy and Ron as well in emails. I think I might have sent them to you as well, Dave. But the image on the screen right now is that that style of building.
And just so everybody's aware of the location, if you're familiar with North Water Street terminates at Highway S and you come down Highway S, it's the property on Highway S, pretty close to the edge of the city limits. Here's Eastridge over here. And there's two lots, and it's this lot right here, currently owned by Living Waters Assembly.
What are you going to do with the other garage that's there?
Well, since it was there, I figured I just would leave it there and initially just use it for yard equipment and something like that, just to park lawnmowers and so forth in there. Initially for the first couple of years, because I'm not going to start, if I end up purchasing this, it's not like I would break ground and start building and immediately. It might, I suspect it'll be a year down the road, but I wasn't planning on doing anything to that building. Might bring electrical to it, since there's electrical within, I think, about 100 feet of it already on the property. So, but that was my only intent on that at this time.
Mr. Rohan, this is Mayor Mark. Would this be your primary residence?
Yes.
Dave, could you tell me again, what is the ordinance? What is the square footage for a garage in the city of New London currently, square footage wise?
Currently, you can have 1,100 square foot attached garage and a detached accessory structure of 1,100 square feet as well, with a maximum height of 15 foot from the top of the concrete to the top of the peak.
So we're making a 10,000 square foot exception.
The ordinance allows for the petitioner to speak with the planning commission to approve a larger structure that doesn't interfere with a residential or the kind of the character of the neighborhood. So like I said, I told him I would put him on the agenda so he could pitch this to the planning commission. So it could be approved. And I don't know if he's necessarily married to this particular building.
Just think
This
that
is just one to kind of broach the subject.
Definitely.
Pardon?
I think as a commission, we just have to recognize that if we make this exception, it's gonna allow us not to make exceptions in the future, because we've had several garages that are within a couple inches here and there that are not compliant, and we wanted to go forward with some action against those, and that kind of limits our hand. We would not be able to do that in the future. We would have to waive this because we have to stay consistent with all the residents in New London. So I think that's probably going to be the biggest point of discussion for us moving forward on this type of a project.
To add what you said to that, though, we're also looking at 11-acre parcel.
Understandable.
And didn't he say his intention now was to have it all one structure, not a freestanding garage?
Correct.
Correct.
which makes a difference.
It would be one full structure like you see up on the screen right now.
So what, what do we allow, say, in the city of this size right here, of size this building, would not fit in town? As far as the living structure and the garage.
I was gonna ask the same thing about how big your
That's-
house and an attached garage could
That's
be.
what that's a question I have. So what would be the difference in that, Dave?
Ju- Well, obviously, this isn't gonna fit on one of our city lots, you know, they're quarter acre or third acre, some even maybe a little less. Normally a zoning ordinance will have some provisions for larger properties in a graduated accessory structure size. I don't know as that was addressed at any point when the zoning ordinance was adopted. Like I said, I don't know if he's necessarily married to this particular style. I'm assuming it could be trimmed down and then also maybe have an accessory structure that would kind of, you know, take away some of the square footage from this building or one similar to it. So the planning commission obviously has to do these on a case by case. I don't necessarily think this would open a Pandora's box necessarily, because someone's not going to argue that, you know, I want that size building on my lot when the buildings wouldn't even come close to fitting on one of the lots in the downtown area.
So Dave, there's two things that correct me if I'm wrong, is the commission looking at two things? Number one, the garage size to approve that size. And what about the height? Is there something to the height they got to worry about too?
They don't differentiate when they're speaking about allowing a larger building. So I'm assuming they would, obviously, when you start getting a little bigger spans, obviously your roof height is going to change significantly. So they don't separate the two issues out. It just talks about a larger building to have the planning commission allow something larger than what
I believe the height is 16 feet though, isn't it?
It's 15 foot.
Is that just for a detached structure or is that for a home as well?
I think that's just for a detached. Obviously, a two-story home could probably have some living space over the garage since it's attached, and the roof lines wouldn't change a whole lot. The idea that so the garage doesn't dwarf the residential dwelling when it's a detached accessory structure.
Anybody else have anything?
Are you representing?
He's in Arizona.
Yep. So if you want to come up to a mic so he can hear you and everybody else can hear you as well.
Hi, Pete and Dave.
Oh. Hi, Sandy.
Hey, we're just about talked to death of this thing, right? So just a couple things that we have question on, and Pete can't be here because he's down in Arizona. Or are you in Florida right now?
Phoenix right now.
Phoenix? Okay. So there is another building that Pete and I looked at when he was up here looking at the land, and it's right on the end of I don't remember who built it. I think Wayne Buskirk maybe built it.
Well, from.
Right on the river?
Yeah, help me out there. Wood Lane, off on the end of Wood Lane. And Pete and I went and looked at that building, and that's similar to what he's thinking he wants to build on this Highway S property. Yeah, there you go.
That's not updated.
That was under construction at the time. so.
Yeah, that's all we can find too on the GIS. But it's, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's very similar to what you're thinking you want to build.
Yeah, that style, right?
That style,
Out
yeah.
that look, if you will.
That's the one I thought of when I asked the question about, having a home with the garage and the roof line that's saying limit is Wayne Buskirk's.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's got. He's got a huge house, little living, lots Lot's garage, I think, by the looks of it. But
We didn't have to do anything with the roof line or size on that one. It was more, help me out here, was because it was so close to the railroad that we were making some kind of an adjustment on that at that time. It wasn't, had anything to do, if I remember right, that it was, had anything to do with the size.
and Dave, we maybe have to look at the changing our ordinance, adding to it to take, if we're getting people buying larger parcels of land and want to build on it, you know, they're not going to want to build a house that's going to fit on a, you know, 60 by 60 or whatever. Have to make, you know, update.
Yeah, when you're looking at this, you just kind of have to keep in mind the impact it's going to have on neighboring properties and whether you think it detracts from what's going on there as part of the language in the ordinance. So, a handsome building, it's on the edge of town. And I guess we just kind of need to weigh if we think it's going to negatively impact the city and or the residents across the road there.
I just know, being in real estate, these properties are getting very, very popular. I'm seeing them popping up everywhere, and it's simply because the men want a bigger shed. They want a garage. So come on, you guys, I'm seeing them everywhere. I mean, the first one I sold was over on Highway 161 by Manawa. And I walked in, it blew my mind. Hickory cabinets, Kohler fixtures, granite countertops. And then the man gets the shop that they want. So
From what I'm seeing right there, there's really no negative impact up front that I see myself. I mean, you're next to the highway. You have another large parcel next to it. You have an established parcel to the other side of it, and it looks like a subdivision on the other side.
Mhm.
Well, and remember, we'll be talking about this next.
That'll be a
This will be a new development going in over here, so.
So that parcel that's established next to it, that has a barn on it right now, if I remember correctly. Right? So, because it was agricultural, so it has a,
The Coet's property. That was a farm.
yes, so
I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance.
I would second that.
You've got any discussion?
Can I say something real quick? I do think part of the plan for this might just call for maybe some landscaping to kind of maybe, I don't want to say hide the building, but maybe from near the road or something to kind of just give a little bit of distance, possibly.
Did everybody see the other picture that I forwarded?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's landscaped beautifully.
Mhm.
Pete, do you have this other picture in your email that you forwarded me?
yes, I do.
Maybe you can pop that one up on the
I don't have
screen.
that one on. This is on my end, so.
Oh,
I
that's
won't
on
be able
your
to bring
end.
that up real quick.
Oh, yeah, I'm not allowed to share, I don't believe.
If you want to share, I can probably give you access here. Hold on a second. Go ahead and try it now, Pete, if you want to share.
Let's see here. I'm just trying to see where I.
Oh, not.
As Pete's doing that, I guess one of the only considerations that maybe the commission wants to kind of think about is obviously with this type of structure, I mean, with the larger shed in the back, I mean, having a private residences with a shed type personal application is fine. But just to make sure that it doesn't turn into a business sense that conflicts within residential zoning. And we talked to Pete about that, and it sounds like this is gonna be a private thing, but, say if Pete ever, sells it, now you got a large shed, and it can't turn into a business because it's in a residential district.
Well, my concern is any individual that wants to build a pole building in town whether the lot restricts it or not, it's gonna be hard to say no when he says there's one right outside of town. Because we do have conflicting people that have built pole buildings and the neighbors do not like them. And they say, how did they get that in there? We have an ordinance. And we are gonna have difficulty, just so you know, that once you approve this, it sets a precedence to be consistent in the future, that's all.
Well, that's why I suggested we update our ordinance and add wording that will take care of properties like this where people are going to want to build a larger.
It should depend how big your lot.
Right.
Right.
City lot is X,
Right.
this range, correct? And then
Yeah, on the city lot,
Lot sizes that.
I'm
they
sorry.
want to build them.
I believe the one would be Mill Street, Division Street,
yeah,
across from Roger Steingraber. That garage
and the little shed.
has been very large. And then there's one on, there's another pole building, just a couple that I'm thinking of where people have
Josh Retcha?
questioned, why do they have such a large pole building in town when they are familiar with the ordinance? That's all.
Bob, there's one right down behind you too, isn't there?
I think that's the one you're talking about, right?
That's when he's talking about, just
Josh.
up, just south there.
Josh Retches.
Right, yeah. And I know that one was approved
Mhm.
a few years ago. I remember that one.
I don't know if you can see my screen, but
Yes, Pete, we can.
okay. So here's a couple other plans from different builders. You can see the different types of landscaping and they make them look like a residence at the end of the day. So.
We got a motion in front of us and a first and a second on it. I guess I would call for a vote. Who's in favor of it?
Aye.
All in favor?
Yeah, huh?
All in favor, aye.
Everybody is in favor of it, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I am
Opposed.
too.
So 2 opposed, right? By Jason. 3 opposed? 3 nay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Do we have any commission members online? Just Pete, I'm gonna stop your screen here once. I just want to make sure that we've got nobody online that's votable. Okay. So 3 nay, 1, 2, 3.
Steve
Four.
Grote is, isn't he?
Oh, Steve, there we go. Steve, are you voting? Steve, can you hear us?
Still on mute.
I think he's on mute.
No, Steve is not voting then, so Mayor,
You should take a hand, raise your hand that's opposed.
you opposed?
3.
Everybody raise their hand for yes.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4,
You can vote.
I can vote.
Your
Yes.
vote, you're an alderman.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yes. 6 yes, 3 nay.
Okay, so this goes to council then. Or is this
I think this
approved?
stays here.
Okay,
I think this passed us.
all right.
Really?
Do we need to then look into maybe, with the zoning on these things that it has to be on your lot size or in the future?
We can bring that up for future discussion.
Okay. Cause pole sheds in town.
This is in town though.
I know, but 11
That's
acres.
the
in
interpretation.
town, Right, yeah, and I understand that.
And at this point in time, I'd like to speak to the alderman that even though if you're not on this commission, you can still vote. The only thing you cannot do is motion or second.
All right, so that passed. So Pete, I think you just stay in touch with Dave moving forward. If anything majorly changes, obviously that's going to change the outlook of what was just passed and approved. But I think you just work with Dave in the future. And then like what Billy said, since this is maybe a new trend of things that our ordinance maybe not looked at in the past, this is something we might have to address further in the future in our ordinances.
But should we maybe address that before this because of then we have to base it off of that.
You already approved it right now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, I guess we're moving on then.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you. Thank you.
Consider a resolution to amend the city's comprehensive plan, preferred land use map for Becker Road.
So. Yep, I'll take that. So the next, let's see here. The next 4 or 5 items are related. So as we talked about in the last couple of meetings, we had requests from Mr. Resloff and then from SCS about creating rezoning, changing our preferred land use maps and things in our comprehensive plan to allow for split multifamily and single family residence. So these are the steps we need to go through to allow these developments to occur. So 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10 will be kind of related. We're just going to kind of go through one at a time. So the first one we need to do is consider a resolution to amend the comprehensive plan preferred land use map. So if you remember with our talks with Cedar Corp, we have our comprehensive plan, and in that is the land use map. And for anybody new or doesn't know, that's different than our zoning map. 2 different things. They have to kind of mesh, but they're 2 different things. So the first thing we're going to do is look at amending our preferred land use map for that parcel on Becker Road. I don't know if I had a map in here on that. Yep. So Becker Road, this is the current preferred land use map, and the current land use map, the preferred land use map, for whatever reason, still says it should be conservation. We're going to be changing that preferred land, or we're proposing to change that to be that split single family and proposed multifamily on the backside. We had to put a 30-day notice in the paper for a upcoming public hearing that will be at the council meeting on June 8th for this. But the first thing that the commission needs to do is pass a resolution basically telling the council that yes, the commission feels like they want to change this preferred land use map into what I just talked about. Any questions on those, on that start?
That's the same thing we have to do for Sudersky.
Yes, they're basically doing the
Both
same thing.
steps.
Yeah. We're changing, there's gonna be a slight difference, but essentially the same thing. First of all, we have to change the land use map. And once that's changed, then we can change the ordinance for the zoning ordinance. And behind that will be coming, and these are both pending the new CSMs that you guys will be reviewing as well. So the
we'd
first
be
thing we
looking
got to
for-
do is change the land use map if there's a motion for that.
We're looking for a motion to change the city comprehensive plan preferred land use map for the parcel on Becker Road.
Yes.
I look for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And the second thing
The
you're gonna
zoning?
do is the zoning. So this ordinance would go to the city council to change the zoning. Currently, I believe the entire parcel is zoned R1. Oh, I'm sorry, David, I'm not showing you the screen here.
We're looking for
Sure,
4,
sure.
huh?
So let's bring up our zoning map. So the current zoning for the parcel is R1, and as you know, it'll be a split. The proposal is to put multifamily in the bottom, pretty much in line with the current multifamily on Becker, and then put single family north of that. So the ordinance that we have right here is changing the lot, the southern lot of it from R1 to R4 to allow the multifamily district.
Yeah, I would look for a motion to change the parcels from R1 to R4 for CSM modification approval on Becker Road.
So move.
I'll second.
Motion made and second to approve the zoning ordinance. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You have anything to say, Randy?
Questions, I'm here.
Anybody got any questions?
Built pretty much everything already.
Okay.
And the last thing we still got to do is approve the CSM for that parcel.
Okay, I guess we look for a approval for the CSM for the parcel 3313-3419 at 815 Beckett Road.
And again, the CSM is splitting it up so you can easily see lot 2 would become the multifamily or the R4. And then lot 3 will retain to be
Single.
single family on the land use map, and then R1 in the zoning.
I think everybody understands that.
I hope.
All in favor?
Hopefully,
The motion?
Also move.
I'll second.
Motion made and second to approve the CSM. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
thanks, Randy. You can stay if you want, but
Thank you.
Mr.
Randy, I do
Drewski
have a
here.
question for you. Are those apartments gonna be 120-208 or 120-240
For the what's that?
for the residential customers? For the apartments, do you know the voltage for your, is it 120-208 or is it gonna be 120-240?
I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure it'd be 120-208.
Because I'll need to know how many apartments there are. There's difficulty getting electric meters, so I'd like to get those orders sooner than later.
So there'd be a total of 48, 8.
Okay, we'll order a pallet then.
Yeah.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
Is there somebody here from Sidorsky?
so going in the next one, number 8, 9, and 10. Jackie and her team from SCS is present. So they were present last time and provided their conceptual plan for what they would like to do. And so we're going to go through the same thing. The first thing we need to do is amend the comprehensive plan, preferred land use map for that parcel. And I'll kind of bring that up next. Should have. So the current is showing that to be, I believe, planned industrial. And what we're doing is going to change it to be proposed single family and then proposed multifamily like they did present at their last meeting. So if anybody's got any questions for SCS, Jackie and her team are here.
The apartments are going to be on the south side of the property and single family on the south side of the property,
Single family on the north side,
on the north side.
in the yellow, and then the multifamily be in the orange on the south side.
And they were going out onto House Road with one driveway, two driveways. Is that
Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, there'd be one access point for the multifamily and then another access point north of that for the proposed single family, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I would look for a motion to consider a resolution to amend the city's comprehensive plan for single-family residential and multifamily residential, pending a proposed CSM modification approval.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion's made and second to approve the city's comprehensive plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And again, those are also going to be on public hearings at the council meeting for both the
For next,
land use
Next
and
month's.
the zoning ordinance.
yeah, actually 6 of these will.
The 4, the CSMs don't go to council,
Oh, CSM zone, just the zoning.
correct?
Okay.
The ordinances for the land use and ordinances for the zoning. So now you are on number 9.
Fine. Yep.
Um,
Anybody have any questions on that?
This one's slightly different because they have a few more units in the apartment. So this one is actually going to go to a R4A instead of just a regular R4, which gives SES the option to, there was verbiage in the ordinance saying that how many units could be in per structure. And the SC plan is to put a couple more units in each structure that we have. So we had to go to the R4A in the zoning.
Yeah, I would look for a motion to approve the zoning ordinance on the parcels at 33, 30, 50, and 500 located on northwest corner of House Road and County Highway S from MP to R4.
So move.
I'll second that.
Motion made and second to approve the zoning. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Another CSM for corner of House Road and S. Consider approval, and this goes to council.
No,
This
this
doesn't.
the CSM stays with you guys. The land use maps and the ordinances and the zoning ordinance goes to council. Now, this one, it doesn't show the full parcel. This CSM is just showing the lots that are splitting off. So I'll bring up. Actually, it'd probably be easier if I just go back up here. So the CSM, the current parcel is, this whole structure or the whole setup right here. The CSM that is presented to you right now is just showing the lots that are being pulled off of that. So Missy's looked at the CSM, lined it up with the state plan coordinates in our system, and everything's looking good. So the commission would need to approve the CSM.
Hey, one question. Does this stuff have to go to public hearing?
The CSMs do not. The CSMs, the certified survey map is just something that the commission can approve.
The zoning has to go to all the neighbors within a certain distance. They all get their letter and.
Yes, so what we did, per the ordinance and per state statute, the land use public hearing, so you're gonna have at the council, you're gonna have a land use public hearing for Retzloff, you're gonna have a zoning public hearing for Retzloff, then you're gonna have a land use public hearing for SC Swiderski's project, and then a public hearing for the zoning ordinance for SC Swiderski. So there'll be 4 public hearings at the council meeting. We had to send letters to everyone within 100 feet of these properties, notifying them of the public hearings. And we've done that. We have a class 2 notice in the paper. So 2 readings, 2 publications for the zoning ordinance. And then the land use public hearing needed a 30-day notice in the paper. So Nicole, Dave, I, and Sue have been the last week and a half trying to keep our heads straight on all these changes in the zonings and the land use maps and things like that. So it's been a very busy, and to have 2 projects all at the same time for us to try to learn these for the first time was birth by fire, I think.
See Nicole walk through the office holding on to all. A little overwhelmed.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I look for consideration for approval of a new CSM for parcel 33, 50, 30, and 500 for vacant property located at northwest corner of House Road and Highway S.
I would make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Can I interrupt here real quick?
Here, Dave, go ahead.
You're gonna want to make this pending approval of the other 2, the ordinance change and the zoning amendment change. So if for some reason those don't go through, you're not gonna want to approve the CSM because they, the project might not go forward if it doesn't get final approval.
Good point.
So I will put in the minutes that all these are related approvals with each other,
Pending approval of the other 2.
Yep, subject to approvals of the other ones, like we had it in the motions right here, pending proposed CSM modification approvals and things like that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You wanted to eliminate 11, you said?
Yep, 11 we will put on next month's agenda, so we'll just, we'll put 11. No, we'll talk about that in number 12, updates on planning issues and other agenda items. So that'll be on next month's agenda. I don't think there'd be anything else at this point in time unless we need to bring up more information for Retzloff's project and SC Swiderski's project. Again, Jackie and team, thank you for being present to answer any questions that we had for your projects. There is.
Good night.
Thanks, Jackie. We do have something in the works that we are looking at updating some zoning to help protect the city. I'm going to leave it at that right now. But the planning commission, we might be bringing, and Bob knows what's going on, we might be bringing some zoning changes to help protect the city. We found some things that, just some loopholes that we want to maybe firm up. So depending on how things work out with that, we might call a special planning commission meeting if we want to get that timeline going quickly. But to be determined. I wanted to kind of give you a heads up without giving you too much information at this point in time. But other than that, I think those are the only two things for future agenda items.
Does the planning commission ever go into closed session?
It could, but there's only specific things that the state allows for closed session. And you remember for council meetings, we've got, the council can go in closed session via state statute, blah, blah, blah. So there are certain requirements. I don't know. It's more like personnel issues, maybe
Financial.
negotiations, finances, stuff like that. If one of those topics are on this commission's plate, then it might qualify for that, but the state only allows certain things to qualify, and we'd have to make sure that it's in that realm.
You're looking at consideration of various requests for reduction of the 15-foot floodplain protection elevation.
That's been on the, just to keep,
That's over there across the river, yeah.
correct, correct.
She touching base at all.
Haven't heard anything in a while. Dave, have you heard anything with that property over by the waters?
I have not.
There was a little activity going on over there. I don't know what it is, but there has been a couple of cars and stuff around there. But I haven't seen anybody outside. So I don't know what's going on.
Haven't seen anything, heard anything.
And they haven't said anything to anybody. Huh?
I thought they saw a van or something over there too, like plastering or something, a plastering company. So I don't know if it was just parked there or if they were doing work inside.
Dave, has she taken out any building permits for anything at this point in time?
Not that I'm aware of. I
Something
don't
with-
think Randy has any either.
We have to check that out.
Will do.
You're looking at changing next month's meeting date?
Possibly. The next regular one would be June 24th, but that's the chamber golf outing. And I don't know if anybody's going to be in the chamber golf outing, that we might want to change that meeting. So I guess some options would be the week before would be Thursday, June 17th, or the day before would be Wednesday, June 23rd. I don't know what works better in everybody's schedule. I did talk to Cedar Corp. Both those days would work for them to come for the next planning commission. So, or is there another date you guys want to kick around?
What about that Wednesday, the 23rd? Does that work out for everybody?
I'll be gone on the 23rd.
What other options we got?
I just asked Cedar Corp about the 23rd and 17th. If you guys plan on another date, that's fine. I'll just reach out to them and hopefully
about
that works out to them too.
What about the 17th? Does anybody?
I can do the 17th.
You don't want to bump it up too close, so if they're under the gun time-wise.
I think we were all just under the gun for this one. Even if just a week or two was gonna help a lot. So I think the 17th should work out.
It doesn't conflict with no, okay, yeah, 17th, how is everybody for the 17th?
I will be gone, but you guys are good.
Yeah, I won't be here either, but I
I
don't
won't be
care.
here
I don't matter. I'll be in Bondwell.
Randy, you said you're gone or you're in?
Yeah, we're up north.
Okay. So that would be 2 commission members gone. So I would not suggest that just for
Yeah.
motions and stuff.
You don't have that many.
Especially with the comp plan, it's all new stuff. So I think, especially
Who's
for
going to be gone the
Sure how much
23rd?
difference
I'm out until the 21st, from the 9th till the 21st.
What about the 29th? It'd be a Tuesday,
that is economic development.
about the 30th.
Got nothing that day.
Nothing that day, huh? Sneak it in yet. Everybody all right with the 30th?
So far?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Everybody okay over there with the 30th then, huh? You're all gonna be here?
Don't try to look at my schedule. No, you need commission members here, not me.
30th then? Should we schedule for the 30th?
We'll contact Cedar Corp. If it doesn't work out with them, I think we should get them the next meeting, so we'll kind of work on that. for them.
Sure. we're
What
doing all
about
these.
that? What about that special, as far as those zoning things, those would have to be then prior to this, is what you're saying?
Depending on.
How it all goes?
Yeah, we might try to call a special
Okay.
meeting for those, for that zoning information. So that'll be to be determined.
Okay.
With that said, I mean, I can zoom in, but I don't, depending on, I'll be in Alaska, so whatever kind of reception I get.
Anybody else have anything else?
I'm all set on my end.
30th.
I think we're ready for an adjournment.
Randy, make it the adjournment. Take your first motion.
I make the motion to adjourn.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed?
All right, thanks all.